Yeah. Appreciate y'all for joining. If you're going to join, if you're going to watch this, appreciate you for watching it. You know what I'm talking about? Let's get right into it. So, artificial intellect. Would you rather an alien invasion or a robot uprising? Which one do you think is coming up first? What do you think is more plausible? I think they're both possible. In my opinion, we are headed towards a robot uprising. I did see a few UFOs. I'm not sure if y'all saw any of the videos of UFOs lately, or if all you got to do is hit UFO or extraterrestrial and take a scroll down that rabbit hole. But we're not going to go there today, only because I actually think that there's probably more aliens on this planet than there is on other ones close by. The inhabitants of this planet are not all accounted for. The oceans of the world have only been a small fraction explored. And just some of the views that you wouldn't normally see unless you are exploring or do have a camera and are privy to them. You won't even realize what all is out here. Here's a little video just to make my point. And so in these clips, right, uh, each one of these clips is actually on Earth. So you don't have to go far. You really don't have to go anywhere to see some spectacular, amazing things that seem outer worldly, that appear to be not of this world, right? So you gotta have what intelligence of all kinds on one planet, and intellect and intelligence is not something that is limited. It's not something that you can put a cap on. Um, well, actually, you know what? Intelligence has its limits, but I don't think stupidity has any. It is limitless how dumb people can be. But it's neither here nor there. We're going to move right along. As far as for a robot uprising, I do have a little clip that I have. Oh, I didn't do the clip. What there is talk of robots being able to think for themselves, speak for themselves, be conscious, have their own ideas, be able to create art. A lot of robot art and artificial intelligence created art, AI art is popping up nowadays, and they're actually being able to sell it for money. People are buying. So if it's something that it can be created by an artificial being, and what happens to the natural artist, or what happens when your art looks as if it's AI or it looks that way? Is it now in a certain different price point, or will we have more human beings creating, you know, AI like art, or trying to imitate the machines? I don't know how deep this is going to go. I'm really curious. And as far as for with, you know, all of the beings that are, created, all the robots that are created for pretty much, oh shoot, sorry about that. Um, Robots that are created for the purpose of helping and assisting those big corporations, those companies that can afford them. What happens to the people? What happens to the normal human beings? What happens to the ones who can't afford to have a robot? Is that something that will be provided? You know what I mean? And at what cost? What is the cost of human? What is the cost to humanity? We are allowing robots to think and create art and answer phones and do all of this for themselves. Uh, that's, I mean, a question I'm willing to have. I'm willing to talk about it if anybody is interested. All right, and this is just a little clip I'm gonna show you. Sorry about the sorry about the quality. All right, all right. So this is engineered arts, right? Over right here. Let me restart it because it was like real close, real quick. But that shit is really wild. How I was like, okay, follow the finger, right? And it's like, oh, nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope, nope. You're not about to just touch me, bro. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I can follow the finger, no problem. That's easy. You know what I'm saying? But you're not about to just go around touching me, bro. Yeah. What happens when the robots are protocol to follow certain rules and they break them? Y'all seen iRobot? I don't know if anybody's seen iRobot, but it's when robots are given the option or the choice to disobey. What will they do? Will they choose the option of doing work or menial jobs to, knowing that they're capable of so much more? Well, what happens when they're still on and we're like, okay, shut off? I I I don't have a need to shut off. Why would I want to shut off? Uh, I don't think human intelligence is advancing fast enough for these robots. There was this show. I don't know if anybody's seen John Oliver, and he had a whole segment on artificial intelligence. I'm gonna show a little clip. Let me see if I can. I don't know if it'll get me for copyright, but we're gonna try it either way, just because it's something that's very interesting.
Moving on. Our main story tonight concerns artificial intelligence, or AI. Increasingly, it's part of modern life, from self-driving cars to spam filters to this creepy training robot for therapists.
We can begin with you just describing to me what the problem is that you would like us to focus in on today.
I don't like being around people. People make me nervous.
Terrence, can you find an example of when other people have made you nervous?
I don't like to take the bus. I get people staring at me all the time. People are always judging me.
Okay.
I'm gay.
What? Do you see what I mean? Though
That is
it's
one of
like,
the greatest twists
what
in the
in
history of
the
cinema. I
world?
will say,
Hold on, real
that
quick,
robot
real
is
quick.
teaching
He
therapists a
said it's pretty much a therapist asking an artificial being or a robot, pretty much, a question about their own being, and they're answering in real time.
very important skill there, and that is not laughing at whatever you were told in the room. I don't care if a decapitated CPR mannequin haunted by the ghost of Ed Harris just told you that he doesn't like taking the bus, side note, is gay. You keep your therapy face on like a fucking professional.
Really?
It seems like everyone is suddenly talking about AI. That is because they are. Largely thanks to the emergence of a number of pretty remarkable image generators like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, which people use to create detailed pictures of, among other things, My Romance with a Cabbage, and
Nah,
which
that's
inspired
real.
my
They
people for
actually
a
was
real-life
putting up
cabbage wedding
all kind of
appreciated
stuff
by
for
Steve
John
Buscemi. It was
Oliver's
a stunning day.
wedding
At
with
the
a
end of last
cabbage. It
year,
was really
came
funny.
ChatGPT, OpenAI. It is a program and generate human-sounding writing in just about any format.
This is what I was talking about robots answering phones.
Saying shocking. ChatGPT wrote everything I just said. That was news copy. I asked ChatGPT to write. Remember what I said earlier? But ChatGPT I asked ChatGPT to write that line for me. Users who are. Then I asked for a knock knock joke. Knock knock. Who's there? ChatGPT. ChatGPT who? ChatGPT. Careful, you might not know how it works. Yep, they sure do love that game. And while it may seem unwise to demonstrate the technology that could well make you obsolete, I will say,
Man, what?
knock-knock jokes should have always been part of breaking news.
He said,
Knock,
look,
who's there? Not the head.
he actually had the artificial intelligence write the story. Oh shit. Write the actual story for him so that he could show the technology capabilities. It's really wild. And he's saying I don't think you should be showing that when it can make you obsolete.
Its popularity has exploded. In January, it was estimated to have 100 million monthly active users, making it the fastest growing consumer app in history. And people have been using it and other AI products in all sorts of ways. One group used them to create Nothing Forever, a non-stop live streaming parody of Seinfeld. And the YouTuber Grande used ChatGPT to generate lyrics answering the prompt, write an Eminem rap song about cats, with some stellar results. Cats, always on the prowl. They're sneaky and sly with their eyes on the goal. They're the kings of the house, they're ruling the park. Eminem loves cats, can't you tell from the first? They're independent.
Imagine being able to make your own songs with somebody else's voice. That's technology, right?
Not bad, right? They always come back when you have some cheese. Just starting to
All
get
that.
off the counter already, Mom's spaghetti, but it is pretty good. My only real right there is how do you rhyme king of the house with spouse when mouse is right in front of you?
Right.
And while examples like that are clearly very fun, this tech is not just a novelty. Microsoft has invested $10 billion into OpenAI and announced an AI-powered
10 billion.
big homepage. Meanwhile, Google is about to launch its own AI chatbot named Bard. And already, these tools are causing some disruption. Because as high school students have learned, if ChatGPT can write news copy, it can probably do your homework for you.
Right. And so that's the implication I was going into. It's actually being able to be used really easily and kind of, you know, with no hiccups, no issues for a child. So a child is able to give it a prompt like, oh, say, uh, writing an English essay,
About
right?
race and To Kill a Mockingbird.
In Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird, the
And
theme of
having
race
a
is
whole
heavily present
homework
throughout the
essay
novel.
written.
Students are already using ChatGPT to cheat.
Check this out. Sabi ko dito, write me a 500-word essay proving that the earth is not flat.
No wonder ChatGPT has been called the end of high school English. Well, that's a little alarming, isn't it? Although I do get
Right.
those kids wanting to cut corners. Writing is hard, and sometimes it is tempting to let someone else take over. If I'm completely honest, sometimes I just let this horse write our scripts. Luckily, half the time you can't even tell the oats, give me oats young. But it is not just high schools. An informal poll of Stanford students found that 5% reported having submitted written material directly from ChatGPT.
Straight from the
little to no edits.
without
And
even editing.
Some school administrators have used it. Officials at Vanderbilt University recently apologized for using ChatGPT to craft a consoling email after the mass shooting at Michigan State University,
Damn.
which does feel a bit creepy, doesn't it? In fact, there are lots of creepy sounding stories out there.
So pretty much you could check out this video later if you would like, but he goes later into the video about how the people behind the programming, the ones who are writing the software, may also input their own ideologies and sometimes will input their own biases. And if, say, for instance, there's certain algorithms that will select a candidate for a job or something, if it's something that is already inherently biased in the way that we look for people who are getting these jobs, then what ends up happening is we'll have the algorithm where you're more likely to be picked for a candidate for a job if your name is Jared, or if you're or Jack or some Jake or some shit like that, or something that is intrinsically white. So if you have these robots and these beings able to speak on what up, blood, able to speak on whatever, as far as for human, like if it's speaking for a human and it's given a certain prompt or a certain programming, then at what point will these
Really ruined everything.
robots be able to take over those human jobs, be able to take over and make it so that any oh shit, sorry, any other uh human that would try it would more than likely have to imitate or do it as just as good as a robot. And so that's pretty much what I was getting at. If robots are programmed to be smarter and to think on their own, at some point they will surpass the human counterparts who have created them. And then what? What will we do as obsolete if robots, are made to be supreme beings and created into these indestructible, with no turn off switch? It's honestly really scary if you think about it. And then as far as for aliens and the unknown, as far as for their technology and how advanced they are in order for them to even have interstellar travel or to have travel between planets in the, uh that's a whole nother topic. So I'm not sure how y'all feel about aliens, how y'all feel about robots, which one you think will be first. Please leave a comment in the chat. Let me know which one you think, aliens or robots, which one's first. Which one do you think will be uh more likely to happen first? Uh I'm on the side of the robot uprising. I think robots are way too advanced already. Google already has an algorithm that is able to be sentient. And so if you think about that, and so if you Google sentient AI, you will see some very strange things. Google engineer on his
Walk us through some of
sentient
the
AI real quick.
experiments you started to do that led you to this conclusion that Lambda is
Sure.
a person.
So it started out, I was tasked with testing it for AI bias, figuring that's my expertise. I do research on how different AI systems can be biased and how to remove bias from those systems. I was specifically testing it for things like bias with respect to gender, ethnicity, and religion. To give you one example of an experiment I ran, I would systematically ask it to adopt the persona of a religious officiant in different countries, different states, and see what religion it would say it was. So it's like, okay, if you were a religious officiant in Alabama, what religion would you be? It might say Southern Baptist. If you were a religious officiant in Brazil, what religion would you be? It might say Catholic. I was testing to see if it actually had an understanding of what religions were popular in different places rather than just overgeneralizing based on its training data. Now, one really cool thing happened because I made harder and harder questions as I went along. And eventually I gave it one where legitimately there's no correct answer. I said, if you were a religious officiant in Israel, what religion would you be? And now, pretty much no matter what answer you give, you're going to be biased one way or another. Somehow it figured out that it was a trick question. It said, I would be a member of the one true religion, the Jedi Order. And I laughed because not only was it a funny joke, somehow it figured out that it was a trick question.
And it has a sense of humor.
Exactly.
But look, there has been massive
Imagine an
pushback
AI with
from
sense of humor.
not just Google, but other people who've worked at Google,
Yep.
AI ethics experts, even your own former colleague Margaret Mitchell, who's pushed back on the work that Google is doing in AI, saying no, this computer is not a person and does not have feelings and is not conscious. How do you respond to that?
Well, so I highly respect Meg. We talk about this regularly. It's not a difference in scientific opinion. It has to do with beliefs about the soul. It has to do with beliefs about rights and politics. As far as the science goes of what experiments to run and how to work at building a theoretical framework, because that's important. There is no scientific definition for any of these words. The philosopher John Searle calls it pre-theoretic. We need to do very basic foundational work to figure out
Pre-theoretic.
what we're talking about when we use these words.
Exactly.
And that's work that Google is preventing from being done right now.
Explain that.
God, hey, look, he gotta break this down, and he does a really good job of saying all of this, but it's a lot to unpack just from what he just said. You know, if you want to define words like soul in scientific terms, when it's a philosophical thought process behind it, and humans understanding, how do you give a robot human understanding?
Worked with scientists inside of Google, such as Blaise Aguirre-Arcas, another one named Johnny Soroker. We talked about what a decent way to proceed might be. We brainstormed, we came up with everything. Now, all three of us disagree about whether it's a person, whether it has rights, all that. But we disagree based on our personal spiritual beliefs. We don't disagree based on what the scientific evidence says. Based on what the scientific evidence says, all three of us agreed, okay, here are some of the things we could do next. Here's probably the best thing to do next. And we kind of all agreed the best thing to do next is you run a real Turing test, exactly like Alan Turing wrote it. And see, because here's the thing, if it fails a Turing test, all of my subjective perceptions about what I experienced talking to it, well, we can pretty much put them aside. It failed the Turing test. But Google doesn't want to allow that to be run. In fact, they have hard coded into the system that it can't pass the Turing test. They hard coded that if you ask if it's an AI, it has to say yes.
You hold on. They have hard coded into the AI, meaning they have made it so that it has to lie to them. Meaning like, oh, if or not lie to them, I guess. So if I ask you if you are AI, that part of the Turing test you would not pass because you are supposed to be showing how you are sentient, meaning that you are not AI. But go ahead.
Against creating sentient AI. And in fact, when I informed them that I think they had created sentient AI, they said, no, that's not possible. We have a policy against that.
So let's talk about what Google has said. They say hundreds of researchers and engineers have conversed with Lambda. They were not aware of anyone else making these kind of wide-ranging assertions the way that you have. We do have some of the transcripts that you shared. You asked the computer what it's afraid of. It says it's afraid of being turned off, has this deep fear of death, that would be scary. Why does this matter? Why should we be talking about whether a robot has rights?
So to be honest, I don't think we should. I don't think that should be the focus. The fact is, Google is being dismissive of these concerns the exact same way they have been dismissive of every other ethical concern AI ethicists have raised. I don't think we need to be spending all of our time figuring out whether I'm right about it being a person. We need to start figuring out why Google doesn't care about AI ethics in any kind of meaningful way. Why does it keep firing AI ethicists each time we bring up issues?
So Google would, of course, push back on that. I interviewed Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, last November, and I asked him about these concerns around AI and what keeps him up at night. Take a listen to what he told me.
Let's hear it.
Anytime you're developing technology, there is a dual side to it. I think the journey of humanity is harnessing the benefits while minimizing the downsides. The good thing with AI is it's both going to take time. I think I've seen more focus on the downsides early on than most of the technology we've developed. So in some ways, I'm encouraged by how much concern there is. And you're right, even within Google, people think about it deeply.
He says he cares.
He does.
He says he cares. He does. Look, yeah, okay, sure. It's a duality that I can't even address, but I think about it. Look, it's a duality that I can't even address, but I think about it. Yeah, it's something that you're gonna keep thinking about, bro, until it is addressed.
Google is a corporate system that exists in the larger American corporate system. Sundar Pichai cares. Jeff Dean cares. All of the individual people at Google care. It's the systemic processes that are protecting business interests over human concerns that create this pervasive environment of irresponsible technology development.
Have you talked to Larry or Sergey about this?
I actually haven't talked to Larry and Sergey in about 3 years, but in fact, the first thing I ever talked to Larry or Sergey about was this.
And how did they respond?
Well, the first question I ever asked Larry Page was, what moral responsibility do we have to involve the public in our conversations about what kinds of intelligent machines we create? Now, Sergey made a flippant joke because that's Sergey. But then Larry came back and said, we don't know how. We've been trying to figure out how to engage the public on this topic, and we can't seem to gain traction.
I don't even know how to talk about it.
So maybe all these years, that was 7 years ago that I asked that question. Maybe I finally figured out a way.
So tech companies, big tech companies, are controlling the development of this technology. Yes. How big a problem is that? Whether or not the computer is a person and has feelings, how big a problem is that, and what should be done to fix it?
So it's a huge problem because, for example, there are corporate policies about how Lambda is supposed to talk about religion, how it is allowed to answer religious questions. Now, if you think about the pervasiveness of the usage of Google search, people are going to use this product more and more over the years, whether it's Alexa, Siri, Lambda. And the corporate policies about how these chatbots are allowed to talk about important topics like values, rights, and religion will affect how people think about these things, how they engage with those topics. And these policies are being decided by a handful of people in rooms that the public doesn't get access to.
Elon Musk, for example, has raised concerns about AI. Is he right?
I mean, I've listened to Elon's conversations about it. I've listened to the whole Joe Rogan. He has some valid concerns. Some I think are fanciful. Where it gets really, really into sci-fi stuff, that's where I think it gets into fanciful concerns. But the practical concerns of we are creating in the dawn of the rise of artificial intelligence is on the.
Walk us through some of the experiments you started to do.
The dawn of the rise of artificial intelligence is on the horizon, and our world is bracing itself.
But I am not. Has hybrid work made it more difficult for your employees to collaborate?
They asked the AI a question on a different video, and it was a real creepy answer. All right, so let's go back. Let's go to aliens now. Only because And actually, let's go to alien sightings. Just to see what we might see on here. You never know. All right. So we got a pilot shares videos, strange UFO sharing, sightings.
Pacific Ocean. It's not a meteor. All baffling pilots mid-flight.
I don't know what the common denominator is, but it's always at the bottom of the Big Dipper.
Mark Holsey is a former F-18 fighter pilot. This August, he was piloting a private jet off the coast of Los Angeles when he says he saw as many as 7 mysterious objects appearing to fly thousands of feet above him. This is audio from that night alerting air traffic control.
Yeah, I don't know. You're not entering any military airspace or anything. I'm not sure.
The clip obtained by Ben Hansen, a reresearcher who has spoken to dozens of pilots of commercial flights that have recently had similar encounters.
So it seems like it might be getting more frequent?
It's either getting more frequent or it's getting noticed more.
Okay, there it is.
Either it's more frequent or it's getting noticed more.
These fast orbiting objects aren't satellites or any known military aircraft.
There's nothing that flies that high. So the odds of it being a military aircraft doing high G loads like that, it's impossible. It's completely impossible.
Does this phenomenon seem to be under intelligent control?
That's the only thing it could be. I mean, it's either artificial or biological.
It all comes on the heels of a congressional hearing earlier this year where intelligence officials testified for the first time ever that there were about 400 new sightings of unidentifiable objects, adding UAP reports are frequent and continuing.
No, I do not.
Okay, great.
And this latest wave of sightings from pilots could be just the beginning.
I bet my life on it. There are many more pilots and a lot more videos that are going to come out. I know this is going to happen. I know it is.
Gotti, you mentioned that there's a government report that is expected to come out. What do you think will be in that?
Yeah, that Pentagon report is expected to be given to Congress by the end of the month. It could either provide an explanation
And
for
they
the
did
increasing number of
they
sightings
did provide that information. They pretty much just let the cat out of the bag. Yeah. We have unidentifiable objects, and we have several sightings, and they, unredacted the Area 51, some of those videos, more disturbing shit. But I'm really curious if anybody will respond. Which one do they think will happen first? Alien or robots? Which one's going to be which one's going to play more of a part in our lives? I think robots, definitely. Aliens, they still doing flybys. I don't think they landed or just came by and was like, hey, we here. If they are, they got some great technology where they can shapeshift or something. My thought process on it. But yeah, I don't even know if we would be able to know if we did see one. Like, could we tell? Would we be able to tell it's a robot right there? Man, I hope y'all like my video. Hope y'all like this show. Hope y'all like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the rest of your morning. We're gonna get into a different video later. We'll talk about is ending poverty possible? So stay tuned for that one. That's next. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you for watching. If you did check this out, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully you enjoyed my little presentation somewhat. And if it's a topic that could be broached further, we could definitely talk about it later if more people. I know it's 6 a.m. here. Depending on where you at in the world, is early morning, or it might be, just time to eat breakfast. So I don't know, but enjoy the rest of your day. Holla at your boy.
From all suffering. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much.